You are talking about animal source and vegan source. What about synthetic sources? I think some of the sources are generated chemical processes.
One of the points I was making yesterday, I'm not sure if you were here or not, is that the frequency is important. And when it's made, like the carnosine comes from bacteria, it actually has the frequency of how carnosine is used in the system, and so you're optimizing, you're doing frequency to frequency. Synthetics are necessarily a slightly different frequency, so they're just slightly off, so that throws your body slightly off in the harmonics of all their frequency. That is the general problem with synthetics. It may look the same, but it's not the same frequency. And that's the work by Dr. Popp in Germany. He's been able to measure these frequencies. And it's a very important concept, the biophoton frequency. And that's why I recommend, unless, and what was our exception yesterday to that? Vitamin A palmitate. And because I can't get that from a non-vegan source that's organic. I mean, that's, living. And I want to make an interesting point, is that there's some research showing that the vitamin A palmitate, which is synthetic, there's a very interesting suggestion that it actually can dissolve the beta amyloid complex in the brain, which is associated with Alzheimer's. They've done this research with mice, and they're able to show a decrease in the beta amyloid. And that's with the synthetic. So who knows what. But generally, ongoing, you want, obviously, a food source concentrate, because it has the resonant frequency of the body and how it fits into the body. Yeah.
I have an important question that I read about it, but I read that I need it in Hebrew, okay? דני, שיש לו אפשרות להיקשר לכספית ולווסת כספית מהגוף.
It can bind to mercury and
Carnosine.
Carnosine.
We don't know that for sure. It combines to zinc and copper. That's the main thing. I can't, it may in a minor way, because they're positive ions combined to those two, but if you follow what I'm saying. We have so many better ways to get mercury out that it's not that important. Iodine is way better, and obviously NCD. It's quite possible though, where people are just beginning to learn about carnosine. I'm giving you the latest, updates. When I summarize the 6 points. But that isn't one of them. But it does protect by holding the zinc and copper, it protects you from creating beta amyloid formations in the brain. Because remember, it's concentrated in the brain, so it's going to minimize the zinc available in the brain for making the beta amyloids.
It sounds fantastic, Mike. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it is, and it's simple.
There are many carnosine derivative sources, especially L-carnosine. So which one you recommend is the most?
Yeah, I'm actually, again, just sticking with the kind of carnosine that's just kind of natural in nature, that the bacteria make. So it's not an L-carnosine. I think those are going to be more from a synthetic source. That's a good question, incidentally, because it's like we want to be careful with that. And it just carnosine. Okay, any other questions before we proceed? Yes?
Just one question from the spiritual point of view. All this was on earth from the time it was created, right? All those herbs are just like more showing up at this time.
No, they've been here like
since earth, right?
Well, not exactly since Earth, but ginseng's been traced back 1.6 million years.
And before that, they were like...
We don't know. We can only go back so far, right? Humans may be here at least 3 million years. probably, but all we can say is, from that perspective, that's the oldest that we've been able to find remnants of ginseng. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that mean it hasn't been here 3 million years, 10 million years? I don't know. I can only tell you what's been found. Do you see what I'm saying? But what was your question? No. You. What was your question?
This was my question.
Oh, okay. So what we're saying, like the algae, which are very primordial energies, some of these herbs are very primordial, deep energies. That is the answer to your question.